Who the fuck is that guy? Where's Mr. Bubbles? It wouldn't let me make him for some reason. Billion-dollar companies' freaking servers are messed up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But you know what? Science moves forward. This is what Mr. Bubbles would want. And today, coming at you with some more research results, as we do present to you 10 of the easiest superstars to trade for in Madden 21 franchise mode. We've already done this once, but today's video is 10 more of the easiest superstars to trade for in your Madden 21 franchise. If you want to watch the previous video, get some more players you can trade for, there will be a link in the description box below. That's 10 completely separate other players that you can trade for. Now, I will say the players we're getting in today's video is a little bit lower tier, but it's still beast players, Pro Bowl players, players that are, I think that there's only 185 rated and everybody else is like high 80s, low 90s, and actually is one high 90s player you can trade for today's video. Now always keep in mind the word easy is relative, so some of these positions are a little bit harder than others. The game is just coded certain ways for whatever reason, that some trades are easier than others for some positions. So when I say easy, just consider it's a relative term, but what you can know as a fact is you can go on your Xbox, on your PlayStation, on your PC, load up a franchise, and make the same exact trades that I am making in today's video. So hopefully you guys enjoy again. If you do find this video helpful, make sure to smash a huge thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. We are on the race to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year, and are going to be doing a ton of giveaways the rest of the year for subscribers and subscribers only, so make sure to take that millisecond that it does take to click that subscription button if you haven't. With that said, my dudes, let's get into trade number 1. And let's start things off a little slow. When I am going to try and attempt, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible, but I'm going to see if I can make every single trade for today's video on the Miami Dolphins roster without having to restart the franchise. Because obviously when you trade players away for trades, you lose your resources. So maybe by the last trade of the video, we have nothing else we can trade away. But I'm going to try my best to prove a point that these players are pretty freaking easy to trade for. So let's start things off a little slow and head over to the Washington football team and bring in a big boy on the interior of your defensive line, and it's gonna take not much to freaking bring him in. That's gonna be none other than the guy, I never say his last name because I always say it wrong, so we're just gonna call him Matthew. So what's it gonna take to bring in Mr. Matthew to the Miami Dolphins? Let's throw in one of the kind of decent running backs that we brought in the offseason, that being the Miami Dolphins. Let's go, let's see, are they interested in Patrick Laird? They're not. So let's just throw in one of these guys, Matt Breida, submit this through, and it's already like 3/4 of the way to going through. So let's just throw in one of these crappy draft picks that we do have here in Miami. Let's go with like a 4th round draft pick, see if this is enough. Might have to add something a little bit. Oh, it's so freaking close. So now we can probably throw in like a 68, 69 rated receiver, 68 Matt Hollins. Add it into the deal, and just like that, we get a huge bolster to our defensive line. A guy that's probably actually going to get to the low 90s in your franchise series, because he's only like 24, 25 years old, so he's going to continue to progress. So all you needed was a running back, a 4th, and a crappy wide receiver to bring in a beast defensive tackle. So like I said, that was pretty freaking easy. So let's head on to trade number 2 and start things off pretty freaking solid here and bring ourselves in an extremely high-rated offensive lineman, a former world champion, reigning world champion of that, and that is a Kansas City Chief by the name of Mr. Mitchell Schwartz, 96 rated. He's worth literally nothing towards your cap, and he's so freaking easy to bring in. So let's see what the Chiefs want in return. So let's see, they want one of our middle linebackers. We have a bunch of decent ones. Did I use the Dolphins for the last one? I feel like I did. So Mr. Camus Grugier-Hill. I don't know how to say your name either. Submit this through, and same exact as the freaking Matthew trade. It's like 3/4 of the way to going through. So if we can throw ourselves in, let's go a running back. Let's see if we can also throw in Myles Gaskins into the deal and see if they also want a crappy receiver. Let's go. We have the tight end Adam Shahan. Submit this through. Oh, it's declined. They don't want either of those guys. Submit this. Oh, just eat my goddamn nipple. Like, that's dumb. God dang, a 3rd round draft pick from next year. Submit this through. And there it is. You get the goddamn point. A 3rd rounder from next year. A 5th round draft pick from this year. And a 3rd string middle linebacker for one of the highest rated offensive tackles in the entire game. And we move. Now this one, it's going to be one of the harder deals in today's video, but still considered easy in terms of the word being relative, and that is going to be none other than a New York Giant, their highest rated player, one of the best young running backs in the league, who will probably easily get to a 99 in your franchise series. That's none other than Mr. Dion Lewis. That was a joke. That just came like suddenly on top of my head, spontaneously, and I thought it was funny. But you probably didn't, so let's move forward. Saquon Barkley, a 91 rated, took a little bit of a dip, but he's still a beast. He'll probably get to at least like a 96, 97 rated, and it doesn't take that much to bring him in. Do they want Ryan Fitzpatrick by chance? And they don't, because he's like 39 years old. They also need middle linebackers, and they also want corners. So we have a right tackle that we can trade away since we just got Mitchell Schwartz. They probably don't want one of these guys. Yeah, they're 65 rated. So cornerback or center, Ted. They kind of want Ted. And so let's also find one more position really quick. Cornerback. They want one of the young guys we have. They do want Needham. Submit this through. And you see it's a little bit more than halfway to going through. So if now we go ahead and throw ourselves in a first round draft pick, we might have to get one more player they're green interest in. It was accepted, just kidding. So we get one of the best running backs in the game for a 5th string corner, for a 70 rated center, and a first round draft pick. Honestly, I thought it was going to take a little bit more than that, but heck, freaking one of the best running backs in the game just like that. So once again, we move. Now we move to a longtime rival of the Giants, and that is going to be New England, Foxborough, to bring in a middle linebacker, Mr. Dante Hightower. Actually isn't playing this year, but he's still a monster in franchise mode. They still have him here. I wonder if they're actually going to take these guys out of the game. Like, that makes it realistic because he's not actually playing. He opted out. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? They want Shahan, 68 rated. Submit this through, and look at that. For 68 rated tight end, like, we're almost already halfway to getting Dante freaking Hightower. By chance, do they have any interest in Ryan Fitzpatrick? I mean, Bill Belichick would love his brains, right? They kind of do. So we submit this through, and it was declined. But now if we add in maybe even Patrick Laird, 69 rated. It doesn't say they want him, so I don't know if this will go through. It was accepted. I love Madden so much, dudes. I love science. So bringing in an all-pro inside linebacker, Dante Hightower takes our backup tight end, a 37-year-old quarterback, and our 3rd string running back for Dante Hightower. Gotta love scientific research. So now, moving along to bring in an interior offensive lineman to block for Mr. Saquon Barkley, though we got 2 trades to go. We're going to move on over to Pittsburgh and try to acquire a guy with the Steelers, and that's going to be none other than Mr. David DeCastro, their highest rated player. He's 30 years of age, so he'll be good for a couple years in your franchise. He's not worth hardly anything at all. So your cap room should be fine. So what's it going to take to bring him in? They do need a wide receiver. We have some decent ones that they might want. This one, they do want Preston Williams. He's really good though. I want it to be a little bit less value that I have to trade away. They want Jakeem Grant, right? They don't. Who was it they wanted? One of these receivers? Was it Allen or Isaiah? They want Allen Hurns, sort of. Submit this through, and about the same as the Dante Hightower trade was. Oh yes, they want Robert freaking Hunt. So you know what? A 65 rated right tackle is so close, dude. It just all depends on like what their position needs are, and then sometimes they need a right tackle. They might be interested in a 65 rated right tackle. If they're not, I mean, it's understandable, but heck, if you can trade Robert freaking Hunt for 91 rated David DeCastro, your backup tackle at this point, I just don't ask questions. So let's throw in again like some crappy player, like a 69 rated Jason Strowbridge, a 65 rated. I don't know if this is going to be enough. It went down actually. So let's just go throw in a draft pick to get this thing over with. Let's throw in a 6 from this year. Is this going to be enough? Submit it through. And just like that, we bring in an anchor of that offensive line to block for Saquon and protect Tua. For Allen Hurns, I think who's our 5th wide receiver on the depth chart. Robert Hunt, a 65 rated right tackle, and a 6th round draft pick for one of the best offensive linemen in the entirety of the NFL. Now let's go get ourselves another running back. This is going to be a Minnesota Viking by the name of Mr. Dalvin Cook. Imagine having Dalvin and Saquon Barkley in the same backfield. Now, it's a little bit harder, kind of like Saquon was in some of the other positions, but still easy for like other 90-plus rated running backs to trade for. Some of them you can't even potentially trade for. It's like impossible. Here, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to end up like getting rid of some of the younger guys just because we're losing resources. We'll go with the lower rated Raekwon Davis. Submit this through. Ooh, is Dalvin Cook, did they change Dalvin Cook's trade logic? They do that sometimes, so it's possible. Shaq Lawson, they do want him. Submit this through. Okay, I think it's going to be about the same. So it's 2 green interest players, regardless of their overall. And also, don't we still have a first round draft pick? We do. Submit this through. It was accepted, so it's a lot more than some of the other players that we had to trade for, but it's still, when you think about it, Dalvin Cook. We throw in a first, Shaq Lawson, Raekwon Davis. Welcome ourselves another 90 rated running back to the squad. Next, we're going to bring in a player on the outside. We already have 105 wide receivers. Why not bring in one more? A Cincinnati Bengal, a veteran by the name of A.J. Green. Will still be good for maybe 2 years in your franchise mode. I have no idea if we have anything left. Do they want Jesse Davis? Why do you want Jesse Davis? Look at him. He's 65 overall, submitted through. I understand that, because once again, it's Jesse freaking Davis. But let's continue on. Outside linebackers, they want Vince Biegel by chance. They do want Vincent. And let's also try to throw in a second round draft pick. We might have to end up getting a first from somewhere else in the universe. But we submit this through. And it was accepted. I didn't think that was going to be enough, but it was. To bring in AJ Green, all it took was a 65, a 71, and a second round draft pick. I freaking love it. Now let's bring ourselves in our second middle linebacker of the video. Flying over to Tampa Bay to bring in another beast interior linebacker. That's Levante David, 30 years of age. So will still be a 90 plus for like 2 or 3 seasons in your franchise mode. Let's see. We're like running out of players at this point. Do we have any left tackles that they might want? There's no way they want a 64, 63. They don't. That's understandable. Now let's move on to defensive tackle. We only have one guy, Devon Godchow. We'll use him in the deal. Let's also need a left end, Emmanuel Ogbah or Jason Strowbridge. They do want Ogbah. We submit this through. It was declined, but all it's going to take is just one more decent addition to the deal. Let's go with the... Oh, I don't know if a fourth will be enough. Let's do a second from next year. They value that less than a third. Submit it through, and voila. Levante David for a 76, 65, and a second from the next season. So we continue to move. Moving on to Indianapolis to bring in a beast defensive end since we just lost one in Emmanuel Ogbah. Go to Indianapolis Colts, bringing in a veteran of the game, Mr. Justin Houston, former Kansas City Chief. And he's actually the lowest overall player in today's video, which means he's extremely freaking easy to bring in. Like I said, we have a ton of wide receivers here. They want any of these guys to make things easy for me. They want Preston Williams. They want this man by chance. They want Albert Wilson. He's one of the older of the group. They kind of want him to submit this through. It's already halfway to going through. Do we still have a running back that we can throw in? Do we have Jordan Howard and Myles Gaskins? They want either of these guys. They want Myles Gaskins. Nah, it didn't even go up at all. So instead, let's throw in Jordan Howard. It'll be yellow interest. So 2 yellow interest players, regardless of position, regardless of overall, as long as they're 2 yellow interest players. Submit it through. It's declined, but let's throw in a freaking pickle and a fried porcupine as we throw in Cox, and it was accepted. How did a 65 rated fullback make that deal go through? So 2 yellow interest players and a red interest player for Justin freaking Houston. Let's bring in ourselves our third offensive lineman of the video. Why not at this point? That's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle, one of the higher rated players in today's video. That's Brandon Brooks, 93 rated. What's it going to take to bring in Brandon? They also want a wide receiver. I have 3 more I'd trade away. They want Preston Williams. This might go through straight up. Submit it through. Oh man, look at that. That's so unfortunate. That's so goddamn close. Let's try to find like a 64 rated. Well, look at that. Durham Smythe. Come on, man. Let this deal be accepted. I love it. Mr. Smythe was the key. Preston Williams, a 73 rated, like our 4th string wide receiver, and a 64 tight end for Brandon Brooks. Now, that was honestly a lot easier than what I expected. So let's continue. Get another wide receiver here today since we just lost one. A Detroit Lion by the name of Mr. Marvin Jones. What's it going to take to bring him in? I don't think too much. We have a right guard we can trade away. I'm not trading away David. Right outside linebacker, do we have anybody here? Andrew Van Ginkel or Sam Iguoven? And they do want both of these guys. So Van Ginkel, a 69 rated, submit this through. And it's already like almost 3/4 of the way to go it through. So let's also throw in, do we have 66? Let's just go with a draft pick. Or Brandon Jones is 68 rated. Or Kevon Frazier, he's a little bit older. I like that a little bit more. Submit this through. It's probably going to take a draft pick because we don't have much else we can trade away left on the team. let's go with the third and take out Frazier. I think this is probably definitely going to be accepted. Submitted through. It was accepted. Might be a little bit too much, but still, it's an 85 rated Marvin Jones added to the roster just like that. Let's add ourselves our first member of the secondary today, going back to New England for the second and final time in today's trading experimental research conduction video. Devin McCourty, a little bit older, but he's still a 92 rated, so even when he's like 36 years old in your franchise mode, he'll still be like probably mid-80s, which is better than half the free safeties out there. What is it going to take to bring this old man to your team? They also need wide receivers. I really hope they want one of these two guys. We're going to have to go to another position. Yeah, they don't want one of those guys, so that's unfortunate. So I don't think we have any more outside linebackers that we can trade away. Kyle Van Noy. Do I trade an old guy for an old guy unless they want Sam? They don't want Sam, so it's probably going to take an old guy unless they want Landon Roberts or Jerome Baker. They want Landon Roberts. Okay, now submit this through. Ooh! And dude, I don't mean to make this anticlimactic or anything, but this was the last player we had to trade for on my list. I thought we had one more, but I had to go on and trade a couple of the backup players to bring in a first-round draft pick, but I kept only the initial resources that the Miami Dolphins had to make every single trade in today's video get accepted. We did go and get a first-round draft pick from the Washington football team, traded some backups, some draft picks we traded up for, finally got it. Let's go back. I already forgot who the heck it was that we had to trade away. Kyle Van Noy was one, and who else did the freaking Patriots want, you bunch of weirdos? Patriots wanted a middle linebacker. Didn't they want a Landon Roberts by chance? A Landon Roberts, first round draft pick, and Kyle Van Noy for a 92 rated, one of the highest rated free safeties and safeties in general in the entire game. Just like that, was accepted. It could have ended up being a lot less, and probably even a early second round draft pick and a late first, but that just so happened to be the first that I acquired. We bring in Devin McCourty, and dudes, just like that, we've acquired 11, or is that 12? A lot of players that are very good, and we're up to an 85 overall. You can literally start a franchise of your own, copy every trade I did, and you can be a good boy and do good things and win a lot of games. You're freaking welcome.